Gils Mr. All Even in NYC. He's so big. They call him boss. He's a boss. All even. He's so bad.
All Even Podcast. It's that type of night. We ain't alone, but we still got a show to do, baby. You can catch me on
Sun woke me up gentle this
Instagram and X at All Even Podcast.
Coffee
You can catch me on TikTok at All Even Media.
World
This is a show on iHeart, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio,
if this day gonna be righteous,
all that stuff. Go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like, share, and
all
comment, because the page is booming.
And please, my nigga,
3 million views in a month.
no bitch assness today.
We grinding. Shouts to the whistleblower. I don't come to play tonight. There's a lot to talk about. LeBron James going to Philadelphia. We got Ryan Clark. We have Kyle Shanahan. We have Gils Arena changing, and now we got Gilbert talking. He talking his talk. I'm going to talk about Francisco Lindor a little bit. Might have a dummy, might not. I don't know if I'm going to do a relevant news of the week. It's a slow week. I might, but I might not. Shouts to Claw. Shouts to Jimmy the Super Intern. Shouts to Silent Assassin. She has abandoned me this week, but, you know, all love. So I'm going to go ahead and detail this stuff and get it out of the way. LeBron in Philly is big, but there's a lot to talk about when it comes to that because it's very, very layered. So let's go ahead and discuss it. LeBron James is now a Philadelphia 76er. A lot of people think that this is him ring chasing and him, he just got to make it about himself again. When really and truly, they don't realize that the Philadelphia 76ers are not this odds-on favorite of winning the title. You still got the Spurs, still got OKC, you still got the Knicks, you still got, there's a lot of teams that are in the mix for contenders. They are one of them. But to say that this is a slam dunk NBA championship team, no, it isn't. And the reason why I say that is because outside of Jaylen Brown, outside of Edgecombe, outside of Tyrese Maxey, Embiid when he's healthy, LeBron, we just heard the news about KCP joining. You go ahead and go look at that roster. They got Hot Porty. They don't have a lot of great depth on their bench. This is not this like foregone conclusion that everybody wants to say it is. It isn't. And people forget that in 2018, before LeBron James chose to go to the Los Angeles Lakers, it was between two teams, the Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers. They have always been a team he's been a fan of, and I'll explain why. But before we do that, let's go ahead and eliminate all the other teams as to why he didn't pick them. Going back to Miami, appealing, clunky fit. Going back to Cleveland, great story. Finish where you started. You went back there. You won a championship. You went somewhere else. Now you're coming back to close the chapter on a career where you started your career. Great story. Of course people want that. Of course people want the storybook ending in regards to that type of narrative. LeBron didn't want that because he didn't need it. It may still happen, but according to him, this is the last chapter of his career. So he didn't want Cleveland. Golden State was never an option. Don't let everybody fool you about what the hell's going on. They were never an option because clunky fit, older roster, there's some uncertainty in regards to the front office about how good Mike Dunleavy Jr. is, and we're seeing a lot of backlash right now about it. Shouts to Bryson Carver. He went on a tirade about it. So Golden State was never going to be an option. Let's not even talk about the Timberwolves. No. Why Philly? It's easy. Affinity for the city, 1. And 2, history. LeBron James is a basketball historian. He understands the game. He understands the importance, the legacy. He understands historical context. And because of that, he chose Philadelphia. You know why? Because they haven't won a championship since 1983. And when he was making his decision in 2018, the 2 choices that he had was, do I go to Philadelphia and help them get over the hump that they haven't gotten over in X amount of years? Or do I go to the Lakers, which is a bigger brand that have been knocked down on a pedestal? People don't look at the Lakers the same anymore. And on top of that, I'd like LA. I'd want to move my family there. It's a good place to raise your kids. I choose them first. The history, I want to bring them back. Family. But that other place has the things that I like too. So this is not something that just came out of the blue. He's always loved Philadelphia. And everybody thinking that this is a slam dunk. It's not. Philadelphia media is one of the harshest sports media places in the world. Fans don't bullshit in Philly. They're going to celebrate you, they're going to cheer you, or they're going to drag you through the coals. There's another reason as why he chose Philly, or why I think it will work in Philly. That's another conversation. But history. 43 years, the Philadelphia 76ers have not seen an NBA title. Being able to be the guy to help, and that's the narrative that I want to go ahead and talk about. Help the Sixers win a championship is very important to LeBron James. Being able to be on a team where he doesn't have to be the number 1 option or the number 2 option. Or some nights he doesn't even have to be the number 3 option. There's some nights he might not even be the 4th option. He can be able to just settle in, do his thing, and help these young guys get over the hump as best he can as a player of what he has left in the tank. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think it was a hard decision in that aspect. I think it's hard in regards to when you put all the other personal stuff in it. But choosing Philadelphia wasn't hard for LeBron James. I said it was going to be between Cleveland or the Sixers. Doesn't shock me that he went there. But here's where his experience in Philadelphia is going to be a lot different than his experience with the Lakers. You see, Allen Iverson, living, breathing legend in Philadelphia, still there, still very, very in tune with the city. is going to embrace LeBron James, is going to celebrate LeBron James, is going to make it very comfortable for LeBron James to step into the door and be welcomed with open arms. City of brotherly love. They're going to show LeBron James love in Philly. The excitement of Philadelphia 76ers fans of what they're showing. As a Laker fan, I never saw in 8 years. I remember celebrating in 2018 like I won a championship when LeBron signed with the Lakers. I was excited. My favorite team with one of my favorite players of all time marrying. There's nothing better than that. And me seeing the Philadelphia 76ers fans celebrate, make videos. They're out in the street dancing. You got athletes, you got coaches, people who are real Sixers fans locking in and celebrating. That feels special to me. Because there's no undertone for me. I don't see it. I'm not saying that they're not going to be detractors in Philly for LeBron James. There's detractors everywhere. He's the most polarized athlete we've ever seen. But I believe it will be different. Why? Because you have a fan base that has been starving for an NBA championship for 43 years. You go ahead and compare that to the Lakers, who, as a Laker fan, I can tell you, our fan base is spoiled. We are a bit of elitist. We think that the Lakers are always going to win. We think that every star player wants to be in LA all the fucking time. So when you go ahead and have that type of attitude and that bravado about you and that confidence about how great the Lakers are, when you have somebody that comes in the door that you particularly don't like because Kobe Bryant, he's not Kobe Bryant, he's not Jordan, he's not this. And now you have this negative outlook on a player that's just trying to come and help your franchise just be good again, because in the 8 years before he got there, they were shit. That's the difference, is that he never felt like a Laker to a lot of Laker fans because they kept thinking about Kobe Bryant. They kept thinking about this and this and this and that. Oh, I don't like LeBron James because he's always putting his thumb on the narrative. He's always trying to control his narrative. What's wrong with that? Sometimes when you have a guy that can be able to wield the power and to wield the influence to be able to make things move, what's wrong with that? See, a lot of people love to root for the house, not the player in the house, not the person that's trying to get the money and win have the big hand and win all the money at the casino. No, you want to bet for the house. You want to support the house. Because a lot of dudes out there are house ends. And they don't want to see nobody be able to control the narrative because they can't. And it bothers them that much. Not realizing that the guy that's right behind me over my shoulder, he controlled the narrative in LA. Nothing happened with the Lakers if Kobe Bryant didn't know. He got a lifetime contract because he deserved it. But did it hamstring the team to be able to be a title contender down the road? Of course it did. Were players excited about joining the Lakers with a Kobe Bryant that was getting older? No, because it wasn't about Kobe. It was about the unstable nature of the front office. So for all the great stories that they have about Kobe, and I have them because he's one of my favorite players. He's above LeBron for me. But come on now. If I'm somebody who can be a Kobe Bryant fan and be able to tell you how great LeBron is, why can't everybody else? Why can't you separate the two? Why can't you realize that Kobe Bryant was the one that wanted LeBron here? Why can't you realize that Jerry Buss was trying to get LeBron here before he passed? That he was trying to get a marquee star to be able to spark Showtime again. And the guy that he circled on that paper was LeBron James. It burns you guys to be able to figure that out. And he never felt accepted here. You think if Kobe Bryant or Magic Johnson were still with the Lakers, that LeBron James probably still would be a Laker? Because we wouldn't have Rob Pelinka. We wouldn't have the negative aspects of the criticism because you'd have guys that are legends in his corner, in the organization. Not allowing certain nuances or certain narratives to be pushed without necessarily protecting your player. See, in Philadelphia, I don't think it's going to be that way. Why? Again, because the Sixers organization doesn't have, although they're a historic franchise and they've done great things in their past, it's not the Lakers. You have a starving fan base that they would give anything to win a championship. So if it's getting Jaylen Brown, who was on the heated Celtics, they don't care. If it's getting LeBron James, what does it matter? They were very close in 2018 to getting LeBron James. Now they got him 8 years later. So it's a great fit. I don't see this being a negative thing. Now, in regards to how I feel that they're going to be able to play, they won 45 games last year. Adding a LeBron James and a Jaylen Brown, this is a 50-plus win team. No matter if they try to figure it out or not, because you have, although they don't have great names on their bench or the totality of the roster, they have depth. And when you have depth, you can be able to keep LeBron James's minutes down. You can be able to keep Embiid's minutes down. You can be able to make sure that Jaylen Brown gets the minutes that he needs. You can rely on Edgecombe and Maxey to be able to do all the heavy lifting in the regular season. Those are young dogs right there. Tyrese Maxey is on the verge of being able to become a true superstar in this league. He's been an NBA All-Third team. I can see him being able to step up to second team or first team, depending on what type of offense they're going to run there. Tyrese Maxey is going to benefit the most from having a LeBron James here. Embiid can be able to get the rest that he needs. This is going to be a very, very good fit. Is it going to take time to evolve? Of course it is. But when you have a great player like LeBron James that is a basketball savant and understands how he can be able to fit in any system, it was a no-brainer for him to go to Philadelphia. And for the people that have LeBron James derangement syndrome, that you think that he's ring chasing, go look at that roster again. Go look at the roster again and tell me if that's ring chasing. It's okay for everybody else to be able to do things. But when LeBron James decides that he wants to go ahead and finish his career in a city that is desperate to win a championship, and he feels that this is the best chance to help them win a title is to go there, you go ahead and you criticize him for that. Name another player that you guys do that to. You defend Kevin Durant to the T when he went to Golden State. You defend Giannis for going to Miami. There's so many other players that get passes. But for the 42-year-old guy who has a history of being able to help in droughts and championship droughts, no matter if it's 8 years, 10 years, or a lifetime for the Cleveland Cavaliers, or if it's 43 years, potentially, for the Philadelphia 76ers. You hate that he can be able to control his own narrative because, again, you don't like the player that's getting the money from the house. You like the house because you're a house. I can be able to add something else on top of that. We can see it, man. People hate who they can't be. People hate because you have success for so long. And the problem with LeBron, too, is that as great as he's been, showing the fact that longevity is a genetic thing, but it's also a talent to be able to play for a very long time. It also gives haters the ammunition that they need, because the longer he plays and the longer he doesn't win when he plays, now you can be like, well, he's only won 4 titles. He played 25 years. He played 30 years. So you don't celebrate the fact that he can be able to keep playing at a high level and he has the longest prime in sports history. No. That's not what you celebrate. You celebrate the losses. You celebrate him not being able to win every year. When it's a team, and the older you get and your skills start to erode, you need to rely on other guys to be able to carry the weight. How'd that work out in LA when you got the younger Luka Doncic, who's supposed to be better at this stage of his career? Last 2 pro seasons, he wasn't available. And who had to carry the fucking team? That was the 42-year-old guy. That was the old guy. When Austin Reeves wasn't there, who had to carry the team? So again, go ahead and push the narratives, but cut the bullshit when you're telling me that he's ring chasing, because this is not a team that looks like they're championship ready, that they're the best team, they have the best odds, because they don't. This is going to be LeBron James' last destination. It's not going to be easy. Everything takes time and adjusting. And does he have time? No. He probably is playing for 2 years and that's it. Maybe this is one. Who knows if it's a one-off or not. But to just put it on ring chasing and, oh, well, Kobe forever, Jordan forever, like, get over yourself. You can't keep hate watching. Just don't watch. But y'all look like clowns every year that passes, and he continues to make y'all look like fucking fools. So for everybody that didn't want him in LA, cool, you got your wish. I hope you're happy with the George Mikan Lakers. I hope you're happy. I'm going to support my team regardless, but do I have smoke for Rob Pelinka? Absolutely. Because I believe that Rob Pelinka sabotaged this team for years because he didn't want to make necessary moves, because he wanted to be able to create the narrative himself. He didn't want to go ahead and be looked at as like, oh, he was told by LeBron to do this. So now you go ahead and go move all these pieces, move heaven and earth, and try to build this team around Luka because you believe that this is more of a dual partnership. You can go down with the ship, because when this doesn't work, and I promise you, even as a Laker fan, I can be able to say that, and I don't enjoy saying it. When this fails, you're going to be the first one out the fucking door. And who might still be around to watch? The old guy that never was truly accepted. But I can guarantee if he leads this team, this Philadelphia 76ers team, or helps lead this team to where they haven't been in a very long time, you won't hear the hate that he got in LA and Philadelphia. They will appreciate it. They will honor it. They will celebrate it just the way everybody was supposed to in LA. So shouts to LeBron for being able to, make that decision. Adam Silver told me, we hope that he makes a decision soon. Shut up. This is free agency. There is no timetable on free agency. If you got teams that want to go ahead and hold up their free agency because they're waiting on bated breath of where LeBron James is going, that's their fucking problem. He's not telling you to wait. He's not telling you, yeah, I might choose you, so you might have to hold on. Make your moves. If y'all think that he's not this impactful player, then how does he still be able to control free agency? How does he still have his finger on the league? Because it matters. It matters when you still got a guy that puts up 22, 23 points a game, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Oh, it matters. So, right fit for LeBron. Not surprised. And I'm curious to see it, man. The East is going to be an interesting watch. The NBA season is going to be an interesting watch, period. But I think, all the eyes are going to be on Philadelphia. Fans are going to go crazy. He might have the number 1 jersey sale in all the league. I'm not sure, but I think he's definitely going to be top 3. Moving on. Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark was fired by ESPN. And, everybody's been talking about it. It's a slow news cycle. This is one of the biggest stories out there. Cam Newton was fired as well. A lot of other layoffs happen at ESPN, as they always do. They go ahead and look at downside guarantees, and they get rid of the big inflated contracts, and this is what they do. And Ryan Clark was one of them. And he was let go after being notified on air that he was being let go, and decided not to return back to the segment. And he's talked about it in detail about his departure and certain things about the departure. Him saying, hey, he believes that he's the best analyst, and there's a lot of people that think he's the best football analyst in the world. And he also says that he believes that, he was the only black guy to be fired. And it's like, okay. There's some other stuff that he talked about that, if you've watched Ryan Clark closely over the years, you understand why this happened. Now, I'm somebody who I can be able to have my opinion about Ryan Clark. That's not going to frame my narrative tonight. What I'm going to say about it is that I think Ryan Clark is one of the best analysts in football. He's definitely up there. He's great. He's great at what he does. He knows how to be able to explain the game, break down film, look at it in real time, dissect it in real time. It's a talent. There's no doubt about that. The problem with Ryan Clark is that Ryan Clark believed that he was so good with the Emmys that they won for the show that he was a made man. That there's no way that they can be able to move on from a guy that helped this show be a Emmy winner and all this other stuff, that he's the best in the business, that, he is the shining light of ESPN outside of Stephen A. Smith. Hubris, pride, it's always what happens first before the fall. When you're so confident, you're so arrogant about you don't believe that you're touchable, is when you get touched. Motherfuckers get fired every day. Dudes get fired from being with companies for 50 years, never missing a day, hardly taking vacations, overtime, being the company man. They give you a watch and they kick you out the door because they're always looking for somebody who can be able to give them exactly what they want, whether it's cheaper salary, whether it's less of a headache, whether it's somebody who has less seniority so they don't have that much control. You're an employee, you're not the system. You're a cog in the wheel, you're not the wheel. See, the thing is, Ryan Clark thought that no matter how good he was, he can be able to insult people on air and tell them how much, well, you didn't play, so you shouldn't be able to talk to me the way you're talking to me because you don't have the in-game experience. Dude, you weren't the best safety on your own team when you played. You damn sure weren't the best safety in the league when you played. So somebody who doesn't have the in-game experience that you do, you feel that because you were on the field, somebody who's been breaking down the game on a very, very high elite level that did not play at the level that you played at, you don't look at them as equal. That's a problem because your arrogance is always going to show before the fall. So when there were signs of Ryan Clark being on the axe, he didn't realize it because, again, he thought he was untouchable. When you went ahead and you were on the Monday night coverage and you talked about this and, you took the last 20 seconds to talk about this, I respect it. Because if you want to be the social justice war, if you want to go ahead and be pro-black and talk about certain things, cool. Stand on that square. But just know what comes with it when you do. You have the right as an American citizen for free speech, right? The First Amendment protects you from the government coming after you in regards to your First Amendment, your right to free speech. Private companies do not need to adhere to that. So if there's certain sponsors, there's certain execs that don't like how you move, they can be able to start to plant the seeds for your exit. There's been many people that have graded their jobs that have been fired. And it's not because of one instance. It's because that there's the collection of data that they're going ahead and they're collecting on you. They're building that RICO. ESPN and the exec that we've heard about has been building this RICO case on you for quite some time. So when, the Family Feud thing came and you weren't there, you didn't get invited, and you talked about it, and you were just like, yeah, we didn't invite you, so. And then the other black guy got invited. Should have realized what was going on. When Stephen A. Smith had the dinner with you and said, yo, there's an exec, man, that got his eyes on you, not in a good way, lining you up. Just be careful. I'm just passing on the information. Okay, cool. You thought that you would be able to survive that. Then you being the person that you are, you tried, and this is the funniest part about the whole situation to me. You said that you tried to change the way you were to fit their narrative. So the reason why you wanted to go ahead and be Ryan Clark and be the advocate and do all this stuff, you wanted to go ahead and you wanted to curtail that because you were desperate to keep an ESPN job? So what about all of the other people and all of the standing on your square, all of the stuff that you did? It meant nothing because you wanted to keep your job. So the ESPN job was bigger than all the work that you did, to the point where you weren't even talking about it on your own private podcast anymore because you wanted to have a certain image and be able to tell them, hey, I've changed. I can be able to be the corporate shill that you want me to be. They know it's an act. They know that now he wants to be a company guy. It's not the Ryan Clark show anymore. You realize that the girl is done with you. She wants to break up, and now you want to make changes. Now you want to go ahead and go listen to her. You want to go do the things that she likes. You want to go ahead and go watch the boring ass movies that she's been asking you to watch. But you want to go ahead and go hang out with your homies 5 nights a week. Now you want to go ahead and go make the sacrifices that she's been asking of you for the last X amount of years. And now it's too late because she's already done. So again, I ask, was it worth begging for your job? If I am a certain way, I'm going to stay a certain way. I've been in a situation where I chose to walk away from a job, but I walked away before they can actually fire me because there were signs already there. You understand what I'm saying? There were already signs about, hey, if you make this move, it might not be good for you. If you make this move, or if you try to go ahead and go backtrack now and try to walk it back and try to be the company guy that they want you to be, they'll go ahead and string you along for as long as they want to, because now they control the cards and they can still replace your ass because the bridge has already been burned. No, what you do is you stand on your square. You don't allow anybody to try to change who you are. If you were Ryan Clark, the outspoken advocate, pro-black, all of this other stuff, then you should have been that walking out the fucking door. Because at the end of the day, people get fired every day. That doesn't mean that you can't get a job somewhere else. But your dream was to be able to work for the mouse because you wanted to be the next Stephen A. Smith. Problem is, Stephen A. Smith understood how to play the game. And whether you agree with it or not, it's why he can be able to have the power and the freedom to be able to do what he wants, because he knew not to upset the apple cart and go off the rails and have an audible when nobody saw the audible coming. He always let his bosses know what he was going to say, got things passed, got things approved. If things didn't get approved, he did not go and do it anyway. He didn't want to be the radical. He just wanted to work as hard as possible to be able to have the position that he wanted so he can be able to continue to move up that corporate ladder. You wanted to go ahead and move up that corporate ladder and do it on your terms, on somebody else's dime. Isn't that funny? That you want to go ahead and be the radical on somebody else's dime. So although they might be 9 execs that love you, that one that has the power can be able to get you out. So don't cry now. Don't cry now talking about all of this influence and people coming up to you and uncle. Don't cry now. Don't look like a chump now. Because I would have respected it more had you had the conversation and explain yourself, and you don't sit there and wallow and cry like you're having some type of pity fucking party for yourself. You got fired, dog. That doesn't mean that Ryan Clark can't work for somebody else. That Ryan Clark's IP can't be bigger somewhere else. To the point where if there's new management at ESPN down the road, they won't call you when you have a bigger bag. But don't cry out the door, dog. Don't cry when she sends you the Dear John letter. Don't bang on her window when she's already in the car with the new dude. You look soft when you did that. And I'm not saying that crying makes a man look soft. It's the begging. It's you thinking that you were so above reproach that they wouldn't touch you. That's the model of the story, is that I would never, ever think that black man with a company that, yes, there is it leans a certain way, but they're starting to lean a different way because there's pressure from the top, from the guy who sits at the White House. But most of the execs are white. And it's not always a race thing. Ryan Clark loves to play the race card. And I'm somebody who does it too. But if you're going to do it, stand on it. And don't try to weasel back and forth. Because once you try to go ahead and look like, oh, Mass, I'll go ahead and I'll convey, I'll do ahead what I go do what you want me to do. Now they got you. We got you. We wanted you to grovel so we can be able to embarrass you. So although the outlet leaked the story, who leaked the story? The article, the outlet posted it, but who leaked it to the outlet? ESPN wanted to fire you. They wanted to make you an example. See, the thing is, the difference between you and Cam Newton is that Cam Newton him being at ESPN didn't define him. It was a job. Appreciated getting the opportunity, Stephen A. Smith putting him on and all that. It's a job. Went right back to 4th and 1, doing his thing. He got his interview show. He has a lot going on because he understands that opportunity can be able to be given to you, but it can also be taken away when you don't hold the fucking purse strings. But when you want to go ahead and think that you are above it, is why we're speaking about you not being there anymore. The hubris of Ryan Clark was put on Front Street, and he was made an example of. If you want to go ahead and be this free-speaking radical on our airways when we don't necessarily want it, or we don't want you to do it, this is what will happen. And again, I don't think that they wanted to let you go on air. They just let you know, hey, listen, this is going to be it. You chose to not go back on air, and that's fine. You made that decision. But don't make it seem like, oh, hey, they fired you and they try to embarrass. Nah. They try to single you out because you black. Nah. There's other black people that got fired. There's other black people that continue to work there. There's another black dude that's on that show that won an Emmy. But it's about, they like that guy. Not saying that he doesn't have his own, and we're talking about Nate Burleson, that he doesn't have his own opinions and stands on his square about certain things, but they like that guy. Ryan Clark, although a lot of people respect him, there's a lot of people that's in his corner, there are a lot of people out there that don't like Ryan Clark. There are some people that have poor and terrible experiences with Ryan Clark. Does that define him as a man? Because you have anecdotal experiences of something being negative because of how he treated you? As a black creator that's coming up, that's looking for advice, and he just passes you off because you're not important to him, you're not advancing his career, you're not helping him go anywhere, so he doesn't care about helping you? Does that mean that he does that to everybody? No. But there are red flags in somebody's character, and you can be able to see it. Because a lot of times when you see somebody on camera and they look performative in their personal lives, there's some performance there as well. Even when he was explaining this, did it come off as genuine to me? No, it came off as Ryan Clark is performing again. So again, I think he's great. I think he's spectacular at what he does. I also think he's extremely arrogant because he knows how good he is. And there's a fine line between being confident and being arrogant. It's right there. If you cross over a little bit, you're there. You cross over the other side, you're there. And that can rub a lot of people the wrong way. And although, he helps a lot of people, he's there for a lot of people, again, there's a lot of people that have different experiences with Ryan Clark. And the people at ESPN, you had a certain execs that didn't like what he did. You have certain execs that had it out for him because you made it easy for them to have it out for you. Ryan Clark was fired. So what you do is you pick yourself up. You create your channel. You create your platform that you do have. And you continue to make content. It wasn't about the money like you said, right? So if it wasn't about the money, it was about the platform. It was about having that big megaphone at ESPN to be able to go out to the masses and be able to show people how great you are and how you can be able to come off the cuff, although you're not that knowledgeable about certain social issues that you should be and should take the time to be able to figure it out. That's what you loved. You love the spotlight being on you. You love the big light being on you. You love the big air with the big satellite that's just pointing at Ryan Clark. Because the world revolves around Ryan Clark, doesn't it? ESPN said no. We choose the machine over somebody who thought they were bigger than the machine. Moving on. Gils Arena. Gils Arena is coming back after being with Underdog. They're no longer there because Gils Arena was taken over by a rogue exec. We're talking about another person again. Gilbert Arenas talked about how this rogue exec didn't like him. He was trying to play hardball with him, trying to, weasel him out of his own show. This was the most popular basketball show in the space. And then they go from doing 4 days a week, I believe, to 2 days a week. Like you downgrade the most popular show, and then you created a football show, and then you had Skip Bayless there because you wanted to fire Rashad McCants and replace him with Skip Bayless because they didn't like Rashad McCants because they believed that he's a fraud. But because he was somebody who can be able to be easily manipulated, they found their mole. And that's the whole story, is that Gilbert Arenas, the negotiations broke down. He was just like, all right, cool, I'm going to just let my contract run out. But look, they're in my basement. They got to move. They got to figure it out because now it's a bigger issue. Josiah was like, yo, I'm going with you, Gil. So I'm going to quit before my contract is up because at the end of the day, like, you built this, you gave me the opportunity, and I'm going to ride or die with my man. Same thing with Nick Young. With Kenya Martin, just a good soldier, but, he tried to just do his job. I think his contract is ending in September, I believe. Same thing with Brandon Jennings. So they're not going to be a part of the new show. But is Cemetery Larry going to be a part of the show? Is Rashad McCants going to be a part of the show? Absolutely not. And the reason why he's not going to be a part of the show is, again, hubris. When people run that line of arrogance and confidence, boy, that can get you in trouble. Gilbert Arenas gave Rashad McCants the opportunity to be able to be a contrarian on that show. On that show. Before that, nobody gave a fuck about Rashad McCants. All people knew about Rashad McCants was a dude that flamed out in the NBA, talented, but because of his attitude and because he burned so many bridges at North Carolina, no matter where he went, nobody cared about him. He wasn't doing anything. Why would anybody want to listen to me, Gil? I don't have a platform. I don't have a voice. Nobody's going to listen to me. Don't worry, bro. I got you. And Gil gave him that platform to become Cemetery Larry, to be able to be the contrarian on the show, the yin to the yang. And it worked. People hated Rashad McCants, but they loved the dynamic between McCants and Gil. It worked for a while until it didn't. Because at the end of the day, that last season, Gilbert Arenas was not there because he knew that the time was up. Negotiations was going on. He's trying to negotiate for everybody while you're negotiating against him. So you're playing, again, you got a dude that's trying to go against the house and get the money for the team. You're the one that's helping the house. You're betting on the house. So you become the house nigga. So you thought that Underdog, was going to use you and you were going to be the next star of the show. You were going to be the next big star. You were going to have your own show. You were going to go ahead and do your thing. You didn't need Gil anymore. I take it from here. So you go ahead and you frown at the dude that gave you an opportunity when you should have been like, yo, I ain't gonna lie. Like, thank you for giving me or, suggesting or, giving me an opportunity to be able to have my own show. Maybe I will take it, but yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, whatever Gil says, however the negotiations are going, I'm riding with Gil. I'm Team Gil. Because at the end of the day, had you realized where your bread was buttered on, what side it was, you would have realized that Gilbert Arenas was making moves. Watching the game all these years to see, how do you do that? How do you put on a show? How do you do production? Oh, that's how you do it. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay, cool. You got these people doing this. Cool. So he's already putting the pieces together, and you could have been a part of that, but you got so caught up in the bright lights and having the megaphone and creating your character, because you said that it's a character. It's not really you. You got so caught up in the character of Cemetery Larry that you lost yourself. You thought that you were bigger than the program, when the program is the dude that gave you the opportunity in the first place. So what did Gil say? Listen, yeah, that I ain't got no smoke with him. I ain't got no beef with him. But yeah, that played a part in me, not having him a part of the situation. Now, granted, I don't have an issue if he came and apologized and all of that stuff. We can be able to hash it out. But I don't know if Josiah is going to want to do it, because Josiah still got him. There's still a little, beef there, if you want to say that, because that time where Rashad McCants had his Cemetery Larry day and said, nah, I don't want Gil on the show. I don't want Josiah on the show. I don't want nobody on the show. I'm going to bring in my own team. I'm bringing my own people. I'm going to host the show. Oh, okay, cool. So you're going to go ahead and go kick the host off of the show, where the host is the one that makes sure that everything runs smoothly and be able to give you layups like Steve Nash and be able to make you look as best as possible, because that's what Josiah does. But you decide that you thought that you were bigger than the program. And what ended up happening in the end? They fired everybody. So now you're just going on platforms and shows, and now you're looking for an opportunity. I'm sure you probably thought about making your own platform, but do you honestly believe that your platform is going to succeed by yourself? See, there's a difference between being a star and being a role player when the stars are out. You can be able to hold the fort down for a game or two, but once the defense starts to realize that there's no cavalry coming and you're the guy they got to go ahead and pinpoint and isolate, oh, those role players look very, very, very below average, don't they? You know what it is to be able to carry a show? You know what it is to be able to do research and be able to have nuanced conversations and find the why? Instead of just having the basic, front end, surface level nonsense content or takes that Rashad McCants normally has. I tell people all the time, you got people who play basketball that don't know shit about basketball. They just are good at playing basketball, and that's what they continue to do, but they don't know the game. There's people that have never played basketball at a high level and know way more fucking basketball than Rashad McCants. You know why? Because that's why he's no longer in the league. That's why he flushed out, because people realize that everything about him is just surface level. There's no nuance there. There's no layers. He created a character because he's always wanted to be the main character, not realizing he's a fucking role player. So I can't wait to see who Gil has outside of Nick Young, Josiah. I want to see what the what the cast looks like. It's going to be a good show because Gil is an entertainer. Gil knows his stuff. Gil does his research. Gil does his homework. Gil never comes into a conversation without having nuance about that conversation, about that topic. He understands it. He studies it. He studies the game. He's not just somebody that just wakes up out of bed and thinks, oh, I'm going to just do my contrarian thing. Like, it doesn't even matter if it makes sense because, it's funny. Nah, it gets old. And just like Kenya Martin said, I like you, dog. I think you're a good dude, but your act is old. Your shtick is old. And if the dudes on the couch see that, everybody else sees it too. So hopefully you can be a house nigga for somebody else. See how that works for Skip. See what happened when Skip doesn't have the big machine behind him? No one wants to fucking listen to him anymore. And all of those LeBron takes that he has now, you should see it. It's so sad watching him on Twitter, continuing trying to run the LeBron good old hits again, and it doesn't hit anymore because you don't have the megaphone that you had anymore. You're not at ESPN, you're not at Fox, you don't have the big platform anymore that people give a fuck about. So as much as I respect Skip, you go ahead and go take the road that Skip takes. See where it takes you. It won't be a road that you like. At least Skip has had some monumental highlights, and he's a godfather of the space in regards to debate. And he was a great writer and all of this other stuff. He's done tremendous things in his career, and he's in his 70s now. If he stops tomorrow, he's good. He's had a lifetime of success. What have you had? And I'm talking about post-career. I'm not going to knock your NBA career. Sometimes it's not everybody gets the 15 years. You played out your rookie contract and that was it. It's cool. But do you want to be labeled as just somebody who just does things for clicks and views? Or do you actually want to be able to become somebody who has a knowledge of the game and can be able to break it down and be able to break it down for people who don't understand it, while still being able to have your strong opinions? See, I have strong opinions on this show, but I also bring stuff that people can be able to understand without necessarily always becoming the contrarian. Well, I feel this, and I'm going to do this, and that's that. They can be able to hear that in their local barbershop. They don't need to spend time watching you on their fucking phones or their computer screens or their TVs, having no information or no knowledge about the fucking game that you played. So I'm curious to see what happens to you. I know Gil and Nick and Josiah, whoever else is going to be on that show, they're going to rock it. I'm curious to see what the next angle is for him. See if he tucks tail and runs and goes beg Gil for a job. Or beg somebody else for a job. Shouts out to the Baja. Those are my guys too. And looks like they won that fight.
Every win, every loss, every second got a cost to be the boss. Late nights, pressure heavy, never fold. Championship mindset, heart made of purple and gold.